If the first three phases of the MCU were the syllabus for your exams, then what if is your revision. This simply means that unless you know all the stories that came before it, it is very likely that you will be lost while watching this series. I would love to talk about each and every movie, but for that, I'm doing their own dedicated videos. The only event that has significance and needs to be talked about is the end of Loki series. That one event without which the What If series would not exist. In it, one significant event happens that leads to the multiverse. Actually, the multiverse was always there, but the time cops of TVA always ensured that only one sacred timeline existed. This changed when the events of Loki happened. More about that in the Loki episodes. Now, the MCU universe has split into infinite possibilities with events that happen slightly different in one reality from the others. As I said, infinite possibilities exist, so the question is, where to look? Here comes Watcher, an omnipotent, omnipresent, immortal being that directs your attention to only those selected realities you would need to know to understand the main overarching story of the first season. Personally, having watched the series, I would have rearranged the order of episodes to know why we are watching those specific realities first, and then show those specific realities. Unlike all that came before in MCU, What If is an animated series, a cartoon some might call. But it's not exactly that. All the characters that we see in this series, we have seen them in live action played by real actors. Hence, the approach while watching this series should be as if you're watching a live action movie or a series. Think of them as crazy ambitious stories that would be too expensive and impossible to make if planned to make as live action. Hence, it's important for us to employ our power of imagination to see through the animation and visualize actual people in those stories. This is my approach. Further, a lot of the same actors came to voice their animated parts. This helps the imagination further. One might ask, what is the significance of this series? Clearly, it is less important since it is animated. That is not true. Since all these stories happen in the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, it is possible that any of these characters can appear in the future live-action installments. In this way, even the dead characters can return with slightly different personalities. Finally, you must be remembering that we saw these Watchers in live action in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. At that time, they watched over only one reality, moving through space and time, just exploring the stories that were allowed to happen. But thanks to Lady Loki, the one who goes by the name Sylvie, the Watchers now can ask the question that is the basic foundation of the series. What if?